idea.
Mitch, what do you remember? How did it begin? What is your earliest memory of the Toxic Avenger?
Well,
Sorry.
the part that I auditioned for, or the,
Well, just to have you, what do you remember? Was it always called Toxic Avenger? Was it?
it was always called well, we actually thought it was just going to be a monster movie, and then it developed into the Toxic Avenger, right? So the theme started to move along as we started to film, and I was in NYU's theater program at the time, and Lloyd had a cattle call. Does anybody know what a cattle call is? No. Back in the days, that's when
You've been through TSA. You guys can fly in an airplane. That's a cattle call. That's worse.
So Lloyd said to me,
Sorry.
just act like a monster. And it was all, that's how it happened, right?
That's exactly how it happened, and I knew you. It was like anyone see The Producers when Mel Brooks said, "That's our Hitler," right?
Exactly.
When, that was you, buddy. And Rick
I
Collins.
think Hitler looked better than I did.
Well, you are the Toxic Avenger, remember? Woo! And Rick Collins, of course, where you're going to see him in Mr. Melvin, and the gentleman who created. Wait a minute, Sarah, come on down here. Sarah is over there. She can't see.
She's blind.
That's all right. You can't see. Feel your way down, and thank you very much. She can read lips too. Like a bat. At any rate, it was a good question. What was the question? How did
you come up with the concept?
There's a book called All I Need to Know About Filmmaking I Learned from the Toxic Avenger. The first book that I wrote, that was written, actually the first book I wrote was written by James Gunn. And it's very good. It tells you the whole story. And originally, it was supposed to be about environment and the fact that we were getting bombarded with a bad climate and corporate corruption and bureaucratic corruption and labor leader corruption. But luckily, that's all gone away. There's nothing wrong with the environment. Those things are great now, and we've got a great leadership in the White House. It's all going to be great.
When I auditioned,
That's why I have no teeth.
when I auditioned for the movie, I had to get the role. You want to know why, Lloyd?
Why?
Because do you guys know that Lloyd was in the original Rocky? Does anyone know that?
That is true.
Thank you, Mitch Cohen. Thank you.
And that was my favorite movie when I was growing up. So
It is amazing. It is one of the American great movies.
Yeah.
John Avildsen, who directed it, was one of our great directors, but he didn't do any of that bullshit with the, throwing chairs out the window. Or he was a good guy, real good guy, and a fighter. He fought for what he believed in. He went on to do Karate Kid. By the way, Cry Uncle, which is a miraculous movie, where Avildsen took absolute shit and made it into gold. It's hilarious, and you can see it. It's good for students too. It's on Troma now, actually. You may have heard of it.
First month's free, $4.99.
Subscribe today.
Thank you, Nick. Troma now is the only thing keeping us alive, really. It's the only profitable. Business sucks, and so if you want to keep us going, Troma now is free the first month. And thank you very much. And after the first month, it's $4.99. But if you put another email in, you should make up another email.
press the one.
That's what Rick Collins and I do. I don't know.
Sure.
Rick, tell us your early moments about the Toxic. How you got involved.
So I got involved as an extra. You may have seen me in a couple of scenes. I was the biker thug that takes Sarah's cane away and tries to lift her skirt with it. That was my first line in a movie. And Lloyd just, for whatever reason, Lloyd kept inviting me back. And so I came back for, how many have seen Class of Newcomb High? So I was Ron Sims, who sold the radioactive marijuana to the high school students, causing them to mutate. And then I came back, how many have seen Troma's War? So I was Colonel Jennings in Troma's War with the snout and the black beret and I explode. I'm wearing nothing, no shirt through the whole movie, just black, just bandoliers and bullets. And then Lloyd called me to
Wait a
audition
minute,
for
hold on one
Toxic 2
second.
and 3.
Here's what you have to do if you're in a Troma movie. You were minding your own way on the set, first day of shooting,
Yes.
driving along, and what happened?
Oh, I got in a car accident, banged up my face in a car accident, and which made it hard to put the mask on.
Pig nose. He's supposed to wear
yeah.
a pig nose.
Yeah, but and then you called me back to. I actually read for the role
Well, the
of
fact
Toxic
that
Avenger.
you did the part with the pig nose,
Yes, yeah,
that
well,
was heroic. That was unbelievable.
But you
Thank
had
you,
me read
thank
for
you, thank
Toxic Avenger in for 2 and 3, probably not tall enough. And then I think the villain in Toxic 2 and 3 was supposed to be similar to the mayor, a very heavy set guy from what I remember. And you kind of reimagined the role. And how many have seen Toxic 2 or 3? Woo! So I'm the chairman who then rips open my own stomach and emerges out as the Green Devil in those movies. And I've never seen Mr. Melvin. I'm excited to see it. Who's excited to see Mr. Melvin?
Mr. Melvin!
I've heard great things, and so I'm excited to watch it for the first time with you.
And Adam Pelletier and Andrew Miller, who found the original script and on their own put this great piece together, which shows off Rick's performance much better than we did in the 2 chopped up versions, which we had to do because the theaters wouldn't take a long movie in those days, especially from Troma. So we had to make 2 movies out of it, and it hurt both films. But now they have. I think you'll agree. And Phoebe, the woman who didn't play Sarah as well as Sarah played, but she's very good. Phoebe Legere did a great job too, and her performance comes across so much better in what these guys have done with Mr. Melvin Dylan, right? Don't you agree?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Everyone's going to see that in a minute, or a little while. First we're going to take some questions, so people raise your hand. I'll come out with the microphone so you don't have to yell. Let's see. Can you give me a hand? Can you step back to that, maybe?
Hi, my friend's family was the ruling military dictatorship in Burma at the time, and I was wondering, I read that you were in Burma and Vietnam, and I was wondering if you could elaborate a little about how that influenced the Toxic Avenger, if at all.
Well, I was a very expert draft dodger, and I did go to Vietnam, but I went as kind of a tourist during the war. I got a free ride on. They had something called Air America that was run by the CIA, and my friend who became a congressperson, he was like a right-wing guy, and he had all this entree into the army, and so I was able to go to Vietnam, and we went to Thailand, and we went all around, you're right. But I majored in Chinese studies, so that had some influence maybe on the philosophy of the environment and that kind of stuff. Don't knock down the trees, build a house around the trees, But it's important to kill all the animals. You have to do that. Those fucking bears, right? Out there they come out and eat your garbage, right? It's not. What do they think? It's theirs.
I think it's their property.
Yeah, right. It's like the Indians, right? My wife and I do support St. Jude's, which is a Lakota school for children. Indians got a bad deal, that's for sure. There should be reparations. Toxie agrees, right? You agree?
100%.
Thank you, Toxie.
I saw Citizen Toxic.
Got some questions over here. We're going to get
Good
over there,
question,
don't
thank
worry.
you.
Hey, thank you very much. My name is Angelo. I just want to thank you very much for everything. that you guys
Angelo,
have done.
yeah, we know it. We know you,
Yeah.
Angelo.
So I just wanted to ask, in the original Toxic Avenger, who came up with the idea of running over the children in the point system? Because that's something that I've taken in my life, not as a joke. Don't do it in reality. But I definitely do it with my wife. We always joke around whenever we see children in the street. We always say, hey, what do you think I can get if I just run them over?
Well, actually,
Curious.
the head crushing of Toxic Avenger, back me up here, Mitch, but it was the first movie to have a full head crushing of a minor and have the car back it up over the kid's head. And now everybody's doing it. Spielberg
Stole it from you.
Yeah, they're all doing it.
That was very controversial.
Yeah, it
At
was.
the time, right?
Well, nobody cared about that. It was the shooting the dog.
That was the
That's
worst.
what- Only one letter, one bad letter. That's all we ever got. It was about the dog.
Bill did a good job, right?
Dog was great. Loved being thrown along the ground.
All right, we have a question over here.
Thank you, Dylan.
Hi, I'm Joseph Romano. I worked for Troma during the summer. I was here yesterday with Lloyd, and I asked Lloyd the same question, and this is a personal question to Mitch Cohen. I don't know if you remember this guy, Kenneth Kensler. He voiced Toxie in the deep voice. Do you recall Mitch? Who Mitch Cohen was like? Who was he like as a person? Like for you?
You mean, who was I before I was?
Kenneth Kensler. Like, do you remember him? Back in the 80s?
Yeah.
Dumb question, but okay, go. Very patient.
I was very similar to the Toxic Avenger back then.
Yeah.
You know, here's the story. So the small gal that's in the laundromat, right? And everybody thinks she's really sweet, right? So I have to play against her, and she said to me, "Don't worry, be gentle with me." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna throw her inside this laundry." So I pick her up. She goes, "No, just do it." So I threw her in there, right, Lloyd?
If she never talked to us again,
never.
by the way. We've had
There was a
back.
lawsuit
upset.
that came out of that, right?
Well, her name was Pratt, and she was great in Stuck on You. She had a big container of milk dumped on her head, and but she loved it because she played a mother-in-law. She didn't get the part because she was small. She got the part because she could act and she was funny,
Yeah, she was
and
great.
she was so grateful for that. And then she comes back to the next movie. You throw her in a washing machine. I wonder if I didn't
She
have-
made me mad.
Why'd you do that?
She had some nerve, right?
She brought in those blue jeans to the cleaner.
Has everybody seen the new Toxic Avenger?
Well, wait a minute. Toxic 4. You came back and
I did.
Mitch Cohen in Toxic 4 was nice enough to come
Does
back.
anyone remember that scene?
Anyone see Citizen Toxie? Oh, thank you. Thank you. This-
I played a redneck. You know that when the truck scene when we're dragging the Toxic Avengers running behind. You remember that scene?
Yeah.
And then I get
I remember
burned,
it.
And then they hang me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, we reproduced the American Texas tradition of dragging black people behind pickup trucks with chains, and then their bodies wear off the cement, and our guy ended up with just a head.
Right, so we had the Nazi cop, and then Lloyd called me to pull a black guy behind the truck. So I said, "Okay, I'll do it."
And we had crosses lit in this nice town in New Jersey, Leone or something. And apparently we didn't tell the local people that we were.
We got thrown out.
Well, we had to move fast.
Yeah, we did.
But it's just a matter, once we told people, I think they rather liked it. It's,
They gathered around.
Republican area of New
true.
Jersey. They loved it.
Wow, we have another question over here.
My question is for Mr. Kaufman. I've always wondered, what was it that made you want to become a director, writer, actor, be in the entertainment industry? What was the spark that, made you want to do that?
Well, Rick, as you know, I went to Yale University. Rick is a very prominent attorney. I'm very intellectual, of course, as you can tell. But I went to Yale University, all boys, and my education was all boys, so I'm definitely fucked up when it comes to sex. But, which you can see in the movies, it's totally adolescent. But luckily, Toxie's okay with it. And the whole idea was, question, please. What was the question?
Oh, what made you want to
Yeah, I
become
got
a
stuck in
filmmaker?
freshman year. We had 4 guys in a suite, and the suite was made for 2 people, but because Yale expanded, they had 4 of us, 2 in one little tiny bedroom and 2 others in another tiny bedroom. And they put the 2 prep school, preppies together, and then the 2 Jew boys were together. In there. It was 1964.
Smaller room.
64, yeah, we had the smaller penis. I mean, smaller room. Thank you, Mitch. We're going to be at the Dayton Holiday Inn very soon. But at any rate, Robert Edelstein ran the Yale Film Society, and he hung out with these film nerds, and I started drifting into the Yale Film Society, and holy shit, I had no idea what a film director was. I never knew anything about it. I just assumed Charlie Chaplin was a funny guy, and Buster Keaton, oh yeah. But then they explained the auteur theory, and I speak French, and they had a stack of French Cahiers de Cinéma, which is a very pretentious magazine, but it was written by Godard and Melville and the other guy, 3 or 4 of them, what's his name, Claude Chabrol, and who became filmmakers. What? Yeah, Truffaut, you're right. Truffaut, very good, very big on the critic. But anyway, they all became filmmakers, but I bought into this auteur theory where the director is supposed to be the brain, the heart, and the soul of the film. So they embrace people like Samuel Fuller and John Ford and Howard Hawks and Stan Brakhage, the greatest visual artist of my lifetime. But I got into all that stuff, and as a result, this is all we got.
Is that where you met Michael? Is
It's
that
all
where
the
you
fault
met?
of Robert Edelstein. Also Eric Sherman, he was another one, but he went into Scientology.
Did you meet Michael Hers at school? Is that
Michael
where you
Hers went to Yale, yeah. Michael Hers went to Yale, and my brother and he were counselors at Camp Tarigo. And Michael met his wife at Camp Tarigo. And if there is a movie that's kind of Michael Hers directed, that's got really his flavor and his soul and brain and heart, it's The First Turn On, which is the funniest of our raunchy comedies. We were doing very well, to further your question, we were doing very well with raunchy comedies, but then Porky's came out, and it was kind of a Troma thing, except they were using good scripts and good actors. And then there was a whole slew of those things, so we had to go elsewhere. Michael Hers read that horror films were no longer viable commercially. He read it in some, one of those corporate rags like Variety, and so he said, "Let's make horror films." If the expert tell you one thing, do the other. Rick, tell us more about your experience with part 2 and 3, so people can get a more flavor of Mr. Melvin, if you don't mind.
Before I do that, Lloyd,
Yes,
I
Jim.
vaguely remember
Rick.
an original call sheet for Toxic 1 that was labeled Health Club Hero. Wasn't that the original working title?
Health Club Horror was the original title, yes. And because I was on Rocky, I got into these machines. Because Evelson, the director, my hero, mentor, he would go to this place where you do these Nautilus machines, and you'd have a personal trainer. So I started doing that, and that's why there's stuff in Squeeze Play with the machines, and definitely in Toxie with the machines and the gym, and it was the idea was, here we are in America trying to health clubs became popular. Those machines, we're all making ourselves beautiful, but meanwhile we're destroying the environment. Everywhere my wife and I would go camping, there were biodegradable containers and beer tabs that the the fish were eating them, the birds, and then the frogs were getting caught in those things that hold the 6 beer cans in place. And I remember a frog hopping along with that thing attached to its leg. We crushed the frog, of course, and when we went. But other than that, that was not fun to look at. So that was a major theme. Also, if you want to read a good book, Rachel Carson's Silent Spring. Yeah, Silent Spring. I read that in 8th grade. Extra reading. See, I did extra reading. Look at me now. I'm with Rick Collins and Mitch Cohen.
So, thank you. So yeah, well, I'll
Rachel
wait.
Carson, no joke.
When you guys, when we're finished with Mr. Melvin, I'll be here. Any questions you have about how it was shot, any aspects of it, you'll see me in the crazy devil costume, which was form fitted to. That's an interesting experience, having
Tell
a
us
latex
about
head
the
mask.
difference. You pack you were like a human, and then you.
Yeah, so you'll see it.
All that makeup.
I have to thank you, Lloyd. It's a dream role. Playing a villain is a dream role. There's nothing better than a villain, and to play the devil, sort of the villain of all villains. You never play it as a villain, of course. You play it as the good guy in your own mind. You find ways to justify the behavior so that it's, you're the one who's just trying to have fun and everybody's ruining your plans. So you'll see me as the chairman, you'll see me as the devil. The transformation scene, we can talk about how that was done. This is all pre-CGI. So this was all the real deal. So I hope you like it, and I hope we have a lot of fun with it.
And it's kind of a religious film too. Actually, I got a lot of religion in my movies.
All right, Lloyd, I've got one more question for you guys. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrew.
Andrew Miller, everyone.
Adam. Okay.
Power of Murder, right here in the room.
The star of Powerpuff Girls, that's right. I want to thank Mitch and Rick for being here because this is such a rare appearance for both of them to be in one place. So if we could get another round of applause.
And funny enough,
Mitch Cohen, Rick Collins.
Both of them have suffered in some insane costumes. For sure in Mr. Melvin, you can see the devil costume literally melting off. But Mitch, I have a question for you. Why did you say yes to being the Toxic Avenger, and why didn't you come back?
Why did I say yes?
I think it was the fun of 4 hours in the morning of appliances and then not eating for about 18 hours. But you do get a straw. You did get a straw.
Once in a while, I got a straw.
And some kind of liquid. But Toxie's right here. He's still working. He's still going. Toxie's here and with Sarah. Thank
Honestly, I didn't know what I was getting myself into at the beginning, but it was as an actor, you do the role, right? It's great to get in front of a camera, right? And you're working, and it's 4 hours in the morning. It's literally 4 hours to get into makeup.
And then to get out took a while.
Yeah, at least 2 hours. So it's 6 hours of just makeup for the day, and then we're doing a 16-hour shoot.
Well, we had 18, 20-hour
Yeah.
shoots.
Yeah.
It was hell. But
There was one time we were shooting by Canal Street, and I'm in makeup, and I'm sitting on the corner, and I'm exhausted, and a homeless person comes up to me, and they give me half a sandwich.
Could you eat it? Could you eat it? No, you
No, I
couldn't
couldn't
eat
eat
it.
it.
No.
I said, thanks very much, buddy, I appreciate it. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Well, it was a very scary movie to make because there were a lot of dangerous stunts, and we had a very good stunt person, Scott.
He was great. Yeah.
He was the only creative stunt person we've ever had.
Yeah.
He was terrific. And wait till you see, if you've seen 2 and 3, when you see how these guys we brought Mr. Melvin back with the stunts in the correct spots. I think it's much better now. Can't wait for Rick to see it.
yeah, no, I'm excited.
All right, we have a question over here in the middle.
Hello, how are you? So I'm John, this is Mike, and Tom was here, I don't know where he went. But we've been
Hi,
making
Mike.
movies for a while, and we recently were able to get our, biggest budget, and we made a horror comedy that was heavily inspired by your kind of stuff, and it was really fun. You kind of touched upon it with makeup and stuff just now, but we really heavily relied on practical effects, and we were curious if you had any kind of advice on any of that kind of stuff. we made like fake heads and stuff. It was a lot of fun, but it took us a long time. So,
Well, there's been a lot of progress today, right? I mean, you guys know more about the current state of practical effects. But for example, this mop used to take us 4 hours to just unravel the mop, but now 7-Eleven, you get a mop at 7-Eleven. But I'm joking, but the whole appliance thing, the original Toxic Avenger, all those bladders and things, took hours, and now it goes a lot faster. But it's still, Toxie 2 and 3 still took quite a while to get the makeup, but definitely not 4 hours.
All right, we have
In
a
fact,
question.
with 2 and 3, the guy came up with a mask, thing, one piece, and he had an eye that was remote control, which never worked, of course. So the wire would go down the Toxie's back, and the guy would be like, have his hand up Toxie's ass and trying to move this thing that would get the eyeball moving. But these guys made it happen. They did it. The eyeball. Continuity works here. It didn't work when 2 and 3 were separate, but it's good here, Nick.
All right, we have a question here in the middle.
Hello, thank you. My name is Michael. Maybe you've answered this question somewhere else before, but it's just been burning in my mind. The Tutu Toxie wears, we know how he got it in the movie, but how did that come up in the writing? I mean, what was the story there? It seemed like such an odd choice to put on a...
Well, I did
hero
a
or
lot of
monster.
work. Michael Hers and I did a lot of pro bono work, not to be confused with Cher's very bad skiing congressman husband. I'm talking about pro bono, meaning you do it for free. And we did a lot of it for Jacques d'Amboise, Balanchine's favorite dancer, male dancer. And as a result of that, we got into ballet. I went as a child, but it was boring. But Jacques was able to, he has something called National Dance Institute. He's dead now, but he created this wonderful organization to get children dancing, specifically boys, so dance would look more like athletics than just a gay thing. And he was a great coxsman too, Jacques. He used to tell us stories about up in the rafters, fucking people. But anyway, that's where the tutu came from. But it was Gay Parrington Terry, with whom I wrote the next two, Mr. Melvin, what became Mr. Melvin. She's the one who said when Toxie gets in the chemical waste, keep the tutu. She was right. She was right.
And screw in the tutu. You have your screw in the tutu too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And the leggings too. Somehow you're
Work.
You're heat-seeking missile launcher was able to get through the
toxic screens.
Yeah, that's right. The DuPont made plastic clothing. But now, one other thing that I think you both agree with, Jenny Aspinall. Originally, I did not want to have Toxie so nice looking with the nice teeth and all that. But she kept coming up. I wanted worms and pus and shit to come out, maggots and really make it disgusting. But she kept coming back with this sort of nice pathos-creating Toxie, and finally we had to shoot. So I went with her, and she was right. And she's doing very well. She she went to Saturday Night Live. She did the Metropolitan Opera for a while, and she's big in special effects. Got a big reputation in Hollywood, and we owe her.
She was meticulous too.
Yeah, she was. She was very meticulous and sober the whole time. Never sober, but the only one. Well, you were sober the whole time.
Except for when I got out of the car.
Well, that's something else. Usually, you drink before you drive. That's what I do.
I told her to take the wheel.
Creative. Yeah, take the wheel. Give me the wheel.
We have a question all the way in the back here. We're trying to get the whole room involved.
Hi, how are you guys? Thank you for coming, by the way. I was listening to Tarantino's podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he said something along the lines of how the 80s and 90s were some of the the worst decades for film, and that's a sentiment I completely disagree with. I mean, is that something that kind of like offends you guys? Do you guys?
No, I didn't mean to say that.
No, not you guys. No. I mean, I look at, Thief, Prince of the City. I mean, Toxic Avenger, Reanimator, so many golden hits of the '80s. I felt that was kind of offensive to say, but I mean, do you guys compared to like the '70s, do you guys kind of agree with that sentiment, or?
Well, the problem for us was censorship. Every time we came out with a movie, we'd see Die Hard, it had blood, serious blood on the wall, kneecaps exploding on walls, and then we make Troma's War, and they cut, which is a cartoon satire of Reagan and the whole Reagan period, and we had to cut out every punch, gunshots, dead bodies with maggots. We had to cut the whole thing out. And the same with Mother's Day, My Brothers, the best Troma movie. Woo! Woo! They got cut off at the legs. Every movie we did to get them into theaters, to get an R rating, the criteria applied to Troma and many other independent artists was unfair. It was more stringent. They cut out the good stuff from us that they didn't cut out from other movies that were major, mainstream. So that totally screwed us up.
We had to fight through every time, right, Lloyd?
Fight through. We lost. We lost. The Toxic Avenger. We had to make 100 prints, and it's all chopped up, and people come and they wonder what the hell is this? Troma's War. If anybody's seen it, if you see the director's cut, it's very good, but the version that came out in the theaters was ridiculous. So the old people who wanted to see a war picture, the old men, they come in and war, it's going to be great. And then they see the little pieces that are left in Troma's War. And the Troma fans, they assume we had sold out. Hey, what did they do? This is like a children's movie. Why? So it was devastating. And every independent filmmaker who went through that, most of them, their careers have been killed. MPAA, the censor board, it was a double standard, and it destroyed many careers.
How do you feel about them saying about the '80s? I mean, there was great music in the '80s, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
100%,
body
right?
talk.
And the other thing is art, right? So it's hard to say, the '80s were, not as good as the '70s or the '90s. It's art, right? So.
Well, that makes sense, I guess. Yes, Toxie. All right, Toxie.
I have a scoop that I heard. Vincent D'Onofrio told me and Sarah that he was originally supposed to play Bozo, and then you asked him to wear a clown nose, and then he said no. So then you hired Gary Schneider, and you dropped the clown nose idea altogether. Is that true?
I don't remember that, but D'Onofrio was in the first Turn On. That was Vincent's first movie, and he was great. And my recollection is he told people that I fired him from Toxic Avenger 2, but I don't remember anything about the nose. No, he was great. I don't know what. Maybe he's thinking of Spielberg or something. Spielberg's big into clowns, no?
Isn't that why he's called Bozo? Because he was going to wear a clown nose?
No,
He jokes around.
Bozo is it is a clown, but it's also he's a bozo. He's just a bozo. Well, Vincent D'Onofrio he's a good guy, and my wife just spent some time with him. He loves Troma, he loves you, and maybe I don't know about the clown nose, but it's a good idea. Maybe Kabuki Man returns. The whole film with a clown nose.
All right, we have a question all the way here in the back row.
Right, hello, my name is Steven. This is my first time watching your film. I also watched Poultrygeist. I think that's what it's called. So this is like your...
Poultrygeist, by the way, for you who haven't seen it, it involves chicken Indian zombies. Chickens, about a fast food chicken establishment.
I think we were all
we call it our foul movement.
Good one.
It's a jeu de mots.
Thank you. So this is like your first major motion picture, and I checked the budget, and it's like $500,000. And would you was that budget like enough for you to get like actual tanks from the UN?
Actual what?
Tanks.
What?
Tanks.
You're welcome. Stephen and I had a little chat before this was all planned.
We're not worthy.
No, the tanks were all, we just got lucky. Somehow at Staten Island, New York, we convinced the I don't know who ran the camp there, the general, that this would be good for morale. And Sarah was very attractive, and men like that.
All right, that's awesome. Well,
They rolled out the red carpet for us, right?
Well, not quite. The head guy got a little upset because Andre Miranda's and her boyfriend were smooching a lot during while we were setting things
We're
up.
filming.
In public, they didn't like that. The colonel or whoever was boss, but they were very nice. They really were terrific, and that would never happen today. Schools, bureaucrats, everybody's so scared of getting fired or getting, cancer, whatever. And now, where are the celebrities who are supposed to talk about Medicaid and the million people dying in Africa? They're quiet. They don't exist. They're quiet. Where are they all? Where are all these so-called open-minded people? The Oscars, my wife is commissioner of media in New York, and she has to watch it makes me watch the Oscars. And I kept waiting, there gotta be nothing. The only thing they said was, don't do AI is not cool. You gotta see the movies in the theaters. Meanwhile, they're all using AI because they want to close the gate so you can't get in. That's what it's all about. Keep it as a cartel, right? Well, they're not succeeding. The major oligarch movie chains are bust. They're bankrupt. They're bullshit.
By the way, Lloyd,
They're not showing what people want. Sorry, Dylan.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, Steve said $500,000. It was
No,
$500,000?
Toxic Avenger was 450,000 in those
Exactly.
days.
Wow. We have a question.
We didn't tell Mitch. We told Mitch it was only 50,000.
Exactly.
There's a question in the middle here.
Sorry, Mitch. Meet me in the men's room.
So Mitch is shaking in his seat right now because I'm Mitch's brother.
Mitch's brother, ladies and gentlemen.
But so outside of Lloyd, I've probably used the phrase Toxic Avenger millions of times when people ask, what is your brother doing? And, so I'm going to ask Mitch, why don't you share with the group here how you felt when your grandmother saw the preview?
It's funny, only a brother, right?
Yes.
So God rest my grandmother. We had a premiere. It was in Manhattan, right by the Lincoln Center, I think, Lloyd. Right?
That was we had a regular New York break, advertising, everything, but it was all chopped up. That was the problem. The movie was, chopped up.
So my grandmother came to the premiere, and she's sitting right where that gentleman is, right in the blue shirt right there. And I'm like, oh my God, the scene is coming with Andrea and I. And my grandmother grabs my arm like this. And she goes, I think I'm going to be all right. I said, don't worry, you'll be fine. I don't know how I'm going to be. But yeah, she saw the film and she had a great sense of humor about it. It was a lot of fun.
By the way, does anyone know who Leni Riefenstahl is? Unfortunately. She would have, if she wasn't a woman, would have been directing movies, but she was a woman. At any rate, she invented propaganda. She was a Nazi, but what so what? But she was, my stepmother brought her to the first investor screening of the Toxic Avenger, and she sat through the whole thing with a judge, some kind of judge, and she was free of her troubles. She was no longer a Nazi. She was here freely. And anyway, somehow my stepmother brought her in, and she sat through it and brought the judge with her, and seemed to have a good time.
We have a question over here.
Maybe the last question of the night.
Lloyd, can I buy your tie?
$100.
The
I'll meet you in the
250,000.
men's room too. Got a nice smile. Dylan, I'm sorry, that question was
No,
inappropriate. Very
we
bad
can't
question.
on that note. We have a few more questions.
Yo, what's up, dude? When you signed the deal for Toxic Crusaders, how did it feel when you got the phone call that you were going to do a cartoon series for kids and toys and a video game? Did you laugh a lot or a little?
Good question, ma'am. Oh no, it's a dude. Sorry. No, I was just joking. Just joking. Dude, how many do in the bathroom? But it has to be a main. Whoa! All right. That's why we didn't get invited here for 20 years later. But, no, it's a good question. How that thing happened, where a boy's head gets squashed by a wheel of an automobile and then backed up, squashed again, how that got made into a delightful children's environmental Saturday morning cartoon show on Fox. I don't know, but it didn't last very long. Eventually, the toy makers started it. They were the ones. And they paid for the cartoons, and somehow they let us. The cartoon people were very good. They did a great job. They were the same people as the Ninja Turtles. And they watched our movies, and they really got the flavor of Tromaville, and were able to write. Well, they let us write 3 of the scripts, and they enjoyed the Troma flavor. And the cartoons are fun for adults. Andrew just watched them. And he's almost an adult. And I mean, they were good. They were really good. We watched them together. They really are funny. And there were so many nods to adults that they're great. But they got chopped off because of problems with the big budget movie that was coming. There was there was a contract to make a big budget movie, and then the company New Line signed a contract. They said it was guaranteed to make the movie, and all of this other stuff. We had about 200 licenses for merchandise. We had the cartoons and the toys, and the movie people said they had it was a contract that guaranteed to make the movie, among other things. And then the New Line said they had their fingers crossed, because they've done that to other people. What they do is they took Toxie as a stalking horse. They had trouble getting the Ninja Turtles Part 3. And so they had us just in case. And then when they got Part 3, they were able to make a deal. Then, sorry, we had our fingers crossed. But they didn't know that Troma has got a treasury. And we spent 4 years. We got a fancy lawyer who took us. The firm took their fees on the cuff. They did it for free until till the end. But we did have to pay a lot for special witnesses and stenography and depositions. Oh my God, we had so many depositions. But 4 years later, we drew blood, but we've had 3 experiences with the mainstream, and the new Toxic Avenger being one of them. But so far, the other 2 times that we, penetrated the hymen of the mainstream, we got fucked. But we sued the second time, and what they do is they settle on the courtroom steps, because they know that most independent filmmakers are getting screwed by the censors, probably mortgage their houses and who knows what, and they don't have any money to fight them. So New Line says, we guaranteed you $2 million as a negative pickup. Sorry, we'll give you $100,000. And the poor bastards mortgaged his house twice or whatever to get the movie made based on New Line's contract. And they don't have the money to keep it going. Luckily, being a bourgeois, my father got us a real fancy law firm that did it on the cuff, and they regretted tangling with us. E1 is another one. E1. But what the hell? New Line's still putting out good stuff. They do have some good movies.
All right, we have a question
And it's a
here.
different world now. They're part of Warner Brothers.
We have a question here, and we have time for a few more questions.
Hello, Uncle Lloyd.
By the way, Mr. Nick Greystone is here. He's Troma star.
Thank you very much, Uncle Lloyd. I love you. First, I just want to say thank you for penetrating my hymen when I was younger and fucking my brain up, because I feel like I've matured into a fucked up grown up now. So my question is like, it's kind of like an urban legend. Was Marisa Tomei in the original Toxie? Because she denies it. She was just like,
No, she said it. She's in it, and she said it.
she's come clean about it, because for a long time she said no.
Well, the only
I mean,
way
I
we,
saw her, she was in front of me.
The only way we, yeah, you saw it. You need your remote control to freeze frame, but she said it. We never knew. She said it in an interview around the time she got the Oscar. They were the Village Voice. I'm sure there's a way to look it up. And she's there. Mitch remembers.
100%.
It's just stupid me. I managed to avoid a talented person. My partner turned down Madonna for the first turn on too. Wasn't that stupid?
All right, we have time for one more question right here.
Hi, Lloyd. My question is, if you had to list any director or directors that have inspired you throughout your career, who would they be?
Well, because I'm old, and thank you for the question, because I got brainwashed by the auteur people. John Ford, Howard Hawks, Renoir, Mizoguchi, Stan Brakhage, Sam Fuller. But I just saw the Spike Lee movie. Terrific. I mean, that's as good as any Hollywood-made movie. And if Denzel and Wright don't get the Oscar, there's really fucked up racist. Well, we know the industry's racist, but they're not as racist as they were. But there's the Oscar win, and that movie is just the best. It's unbelievable.
Thank you.
No, thank you. It gave me some inspiration, and I got nothing left. Spike Lee, though, is a fan of Toxie. I ran him a face.
All right, well,
Macon Blair, too?
Macon Blair, yeah, Macon Blair loves all the actors in the new Toxie movie. Whenever I was with them, all they talked about was, "Oh, did you see Terra Firma? I can't believe that was made." And they had drilled down deep into the Troma oeuvre. It was really great, and they really were loyal to the film, and they're still publicizing it. Nice people.
I thought Dinklage.
Oh,
he
was
took
great.
after me. I thought.
Yeah, he modeled based it on you.
We had a
That's right.
similar look.
Yeah, you look the
Dead
same.
ringers,
Very
twins
similar.
separated at birth.
The light up mop, that was a specialty. Yeah, yours what? We tried to light your mop on fire, I think, but.
So Woolworth, it's from Woolworths, that's why.
Well, Michael didn't want it. Safety to humans. Michael is safety to humans, our first rule of filming. And by the way, Michael Hers is a co-director on Toxic Avenger, and he doesn't stay in directing. But one of the reasons that movie's so good, if it's good, is Michael Hers, without a doubt. And if you see Mr. Melvin, you're going to see Michael Hers in the movie. But I'm not going to tell you where, because Adam and Andrew will reveal Michael Hers in the movie. In Mr. Melvin.
You know, I don't know how many artists are in the audience. Keep pushing, keep working really, really hard. So, you know, an inspiration, Lloyd Kaufman, to me, is 42 years now, right, Lloyd? 42 years
Since we met at the Grinder. I remember that. You had a
You were the
different
top,
name.
was I on top?
You had a different name. I was
Toxicological.
I was Chino. Well, thank you,
But
Mitch.
keep pushing.
Mitch Cohen, ladies and gentlemen. Mitch Cohen. Toxic Avenger.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Hundreds and Arts Center.
For coming out.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys. And Rick, thank you for doing the Q&A that's going to follow. I was up at 6 this morning. I'm very old, and I had to do podcasts for the bigger Toxie. They're doing it in England. So I was on there at 6 in the morning. You know, it's like 11 their time, but 6, I apologize. But come and visit us in Long Island City. We'll give you a tour. Andrew and Adam will give you, I'll give you a tour. They'll be there. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Lloyd. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Toxie. So yeah, we're gonna have another movie, and
Mr. Melvin.
Mr. Melvin, and there will be a Q&A after that with our guests here. So thank you, and on with the show. And let's have Lloyd
Dylan,
back
thank you very much.
much sooner.
Sure.
We got this tour. There'll be more Trump. And you're gonna wait 20 years.
Hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm, as nobody's seen it, because it came out during COVID.
It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
It was nice meeting you, Mitch. Honor, such an honor.
Andrew, make a note.
I heard it. Shakespeare Shitstorm. Next week.
Yeah, well, thank you. Let's do it.